Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of time to introduce you to the Student Longitudinal Data System and the teacher resource library that's available to you through that system, and how you get onto that and use it as a Cherokee County employee. To do that, first you must log into your Aspen account. So put in your username, password into Aspen, and click Log On. Once that happens, you'll see and notice all your typical Aspen things, but underneath Other, or perhaps Page Directory, depending on how you have it set up, you will see an icon for the Student Longitudinal Data System and a ability to hyperlink to that system, and that takes you right into the state's website for the Student Longitudinal Data System. At that point, you'll see your classes, your class schedule, and be able to look at your students and drill into your particular data. As this is confidential information and this particular presentation could be out there for others to see, I'm going to close out of the Cherokee County site and version of this, and I'm going to go to a training site that they have available for us to use as part of the Student Longitudinal Data System that's available to us, so that we're not using any confidential information and everything there is available to us. So it will look very similar to the Cherokee County information, and here I am in a fictional class of 5th grade students in the Dundee school system. Looking at this, you can see that in this particular class, you begin by looking at tracking attendance. And you can then scroll down and look at other information, including the classroom Lexile levels, then the CRCT results for the most recent year, though you can go back as many years as students have been taking state standardized tests. You can also see overall look at grades from report cards available for every year that those have been placed into the system. Now, going back up here, you say, well, this is great. It shows that 17% of my kids missed 10 or more days. Well, now I've got to go and dig through the cumulative files to see who they are. No, you don't. If you simply scroll on top of those numbers, I can click on that, and it will create for me a roster of the students, pulling their test data as well, and showing how many days absent they had in the previous year. So you can begin to look at those students to identify them very quickly as to the number of days they missed, and begin to recognize who they are, so that you can get right on top of that, see what the issues might be, and move forward from there. That is true in pretty much every one of these places. If I can click on it, I can pull information about it. So I could click on that writing test right there, and it comes to give me more information about the writing score, why they did not meet expectations on that, and to start to draw and look at even more information about that. Now, at any time I want to go back to where I began, or I want to go back, say, just a single page, I do not want to use the buttons and the hyperlinking up here within my Internet Explorer or whatever browser you're using. Instead, I want to use the buttons here that will take me back a page, if that's what I'm seeking to do. Or if I want to go back to the teacher dashboard at the very beginning, I simply click on this here at the top, and it takes me all the way back to the teacher dashboard. So otherwise, it tends to log you out if you use your links at the top within your actual browser itself. Use those that are provided for you by the Student Longitudinal Data System. Again, I can look down here. I could pull a roster based upon my Lexile levels, and go to the Media Center and be able to pull books, help students be able to find books as they go to the library, really look at those Lexile levels, and begin to identify students by looking at their meeting, not meeting, exceeding categories in all of the tests that they have taken. So if I want to find out who exceeded this in my class, I am able to quickly look and see that information there and draw it very quickly without ever having to go to the vault, find cumulative files. And the benefit of this is anywhere I can get an internet connection, I'm able to access this data. So I can work on it at home, I can work on it when I go in anywhere that I have the ability to get on the internet. I can go and find data on my students to help me plan and drive my instruction. I can click on a particular student and it will take me to even more information about that particular student, can look at trends on being absent, can look at all of this information available for me here for my students, how they did in their classes, do their grades actually match up with what their Lexile levels are, their standardized test scores. Can I look at any of that information? The other thing that I think is very beneficial is I can look here at this export feature. When I click on the export feature, it allows me to save this data in another format. And I'm going to choose for this particular feature Word, because I'm looking at a student report. And I'm going to open this up now in Microsoft Word. And by opening it up, enabling editing here, I now have, it takes a couple of minutes to load all of the information, but I now have all of this information available for me for a parent conference. I can go through and highlight. I can take out things that aren't needed to be talked about during the meeting. So I can go through and get rid of old class schedules, old transcripts. But maybe I can go in and have this data available for me so that when I say, hey, your student has missed 9 days last year and 9 days the year before, and they go, oh no, they never missed that many days. Well, I have the data here available for me. And I can talk about, how we need to work on stretching their Lexile level. Any of that information, now it's in a Word file, and I'm able to manipulate and use that data, have it in parent conferences, pull it into perhaps an RTI file or some other report that you need on the student, but really help me look at that particular student. And a great way to export and use the data so that it's available for you and is something that you can use to help your students and help communicate with all the stakeholders, especially those parents. Going back in here to the data, I'm going to go all the way back again to the teacher dashboard. And if, for example, I wanted to look at my section 3, 103 of my 5th grade class, I'm able to pull that for my the section 103. It does take a little longer than I wish it would, but it does pull all that data for me. And again, I'm able to export this data, and I could export it right into Excel. So I can now sort the data, manipulate, change the data that way. If I want to look at it and see what did this student struggle with in science, that was his lowest test score, I'm able to click on that and go in and look and see, did not meet, percent correct was really low in physical science, earth science, did a little bit better in life science. But I'm able to dig down and compare that student then with the rest of the district, the rest of the classroom. Is it something that maybe I missed as a teacher? Is it something they missed as a student? Is it something we need to work on as a school? I'm really able to look and dig through that data and make it user-friendly. So there's lots and lots here, and the ability to go through and look at that for each student, to pull it, to export it, to sort it, I think is very, very powerful. Now, going back into the teacher dashboard again, there are two things that I am able to do. One, if I want to see my standards for language arts, all I need to do is click on that key and it pulls up all of my standards for me. So it's a very quick way of being able to look at my standards and to use them. And then from there, something really powerful. If I select a standard and I click Load Resources, so I've put the first standard, quote accurately from a text when explaining what the text says explicitly and when drawing inferences from the text, and I click Load Resources, it takes me into the Teacher Resource Library. And if there are any resources that the state of Georgia has identified through teachers who are working on this, this is available to me as something that I can go into. Part of what that I think is great about this is it requires no passwords. It has been found by teachers who are working with the state, and I am able to go in and to look their lesson plans, activities. I want to just look at the worksheets that are available, and I can click on it. It will tell me more about that, and it will actually take me to the actual resource itself that I could use in order to meet that standard. So there's tons of material there available for you. If I click on that and I like it, so I put a check mark in that, I can go into Save a Resource, and it's going to allow me to create a folder and save that particular resource so that I have it available the next time I come back. And again, it would allow me then also, after I've saved my folders, to look in my folders and to export that into a Word or an Excel file. I can also look for resources by simply clicking on the Resource tab. And when I click on the Resource tab, I have the ability to search by grade, by subject, and by the state, or if your particular district has added any particular district resources for just you. So if I wanted to look at the 5th grade math resources for obviously 5th grade math, and I want to look at a particular standard and or a particular element, if such is there, I can do that, and then I can click Get Resources, and it'll pull resources that might fit that standard. So I think that is a very powerful tool that is available for you to be able to look at. You can also look if there are teacher tools, if there are curriculum tools. This is where you'll find those standards within the frameworks that have been created and available for you. If there are any course tools, this tends to be more at the high school level, but there may be some more being added to the elementary level. And then, of course, my own personalized saved folders. There is a ton in the Teacher Resource Library, which is why I want to point out that you can go to the Teacher Resource Library training video series. The state of Georgia has created short video clips, much shorter than mine, on working with the Teacher Resource Library. It's on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and just do a search for TRL Training Video Series, it'll take you right there and provide you lots of information. There is tons available for you in the Student Longitudinal Data System. There is tons available for you to look at for Cherokee County and to help our students learn and grow to prepare for their future so that they can excel in everything that they do. Feel free to contact your instructional technology specialist or the curriculum department if you'd like more training or have questions about this. They'll be glad to provide that for you. If you need to reach me, my name is Clay Gunter, and you can simply email me at clay.gunter at cherokee.k12.ga.us, and I would love to talk with you and share with you and help you in any way I can as we all work to make Cherokee County the best school district, not only in the state of Georgia, but in the entire nation.